can we do a short, effective wake-up practice so that we feel better and are ready to start the day? Let's give that a try. We're going to hang out together and stretch our hips. I just started the timer. We're going to round the back, and we're going to start making some circles to the left. Now, what we're looking for with this is that we're covering entire circumference of a clock, right? So down is 6, up is 12, to one side is 9, to the other side is 3. And as you get better at this, and you will get better at this, you'll start to notice which part of your clock you're skipping. Like, are you kind of brushing through 1 o'clock? Let's get a few more times. And again, this should feel good. It should feel a little bit challenging, not so much that you can't do it, but a little bit more maybe than you've done recently. And please remember, movement is medicine. That was 45 seconds. Let's go the other direction. Now, you'll notice that when you go the other direction, it doesn't feel the same. It's like left brain, right brain. But what we're trying to do is move in both directions, to warm up the brain, to warm up the joints, to warm up the body. If you feel like it's too much, remember, nothing is binary, right? It's not like I'm doing it, all of it, Winnie, or I'm not doing all of it. Do a little bit. Do a taste of it. Dabble, right? And then come back to it. We're doing these things for 45 seconds. In many of our classes, we do them for 30 or for just a few, right? See if you can keep going. We're almost there. Notice how your body and your brain is getting warmer. We're going to come to the center. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to come up into a downward facing dog, and we're going to hold this dog for 30 seconds as we refine, adapt, and adjust. You're going to bend the knees. You're going to pull the hips back. You're going to push your hands into the mat or the floor. Now, the way that you make this pose useful and usable, sustainable and attainable, is that you activate the hands and feet. Push your hands into the floor mat, stretch that forward. Notice how that gives you a little bit more stability in your shoulders. Bend your knees, elevate your hips, lengthen your back. Take a deep breath, inhale, and exhale. Now that's a sustainable and attainable downward facing dog. We're going to slowly come down. We're going to take the left foot forward. And we're going to do what I like to call squares. So your front leg is in a square or an angle. Your back leg is in a square or an angle. And then you're going to press your hands into your leg, and you're just going to move forward and back. And this should feel good. And if it becomes a feeling of not feeling good, stop it, right? It's all about feeling good and building up your capacity and ability to stretch and mobilize your body. We're going to just keep going forward and back. Seeing if you keep your hips relatively level and your chest lifted. Push your hands down into your thigh to use your strength to find your length. Bring that down. Let's get the other side. So your right foot is forward. We have a nice angle here and a nice angle here. Your hands are on your leg. Press down. And then we're going to go forward and back. Now, if this is too much, do it less. Do it half. Use a wall for support. Remember, the goal is to move, to mobilize, to get some lubrication in the joints, to wake up your brain and your body. Let's get a few more times pushing your hands into your thigh, letting your hips travel back and forth, giving yourself permission to be a beginner, permission to start from the beginning, permission to not be perfect at anything. It's a practice, not a test for perfection, and then come back to all fours. We're going back into our downward facing dog. So we're going to come up, but now we're going to move through this. We're going to start to pedal the feet. And we're doing this for 45 seconds. So instead of worrying about, okay, how many do I have to do? Just trust the timer. Trust that we're staying with this long enough for it not to be easy, but not for it to be too hard either. Keep pushing your inner heel down into the floor. As your heel touches the floor, start pressing your hands forward like you want to stretch the mat forward. Let's get a few more times, and then we're going to go deeper into our lunge stretching. So we're going to come back here. We're going to take that left foot forward again. But now your hands are on the inside of your leg, and your foot is slightly turned out. We're going to start to bend and straighten. So what do you do if this is too hard for you? Get your hands on yoga blocks. Get your hands on a chair. Get your hands on a stool. The key is that we want to move our body through these shapes, through these movements, get some awareness and intelligence in our body, yet not beat ourselves up so that it doesn't feel good. So that is my challenge to you today. Can you do this in a way so that it feels good and nourishing for your body, and give yourself the grace and allow yourself to be a beginner? Let's get the other side. So your opposite foot, it would be your right foot, comes forward. Your hands come down, and then once you're set, you're going to start to bend and straighten the arms. And again, just explore. See what happens when you stay with something long enough for it to work. Let's get a few more times. Love these. Let's get one more. Oh, let's get one more. And then we're going to slowly push our hands into the floor. And then we're going to just keep going a few more times. And then we're going to slowly come back to the center. We're going to end the practice with some moving cobras. So we're going to come back, and then we're going to come forward. Now, what do you do if this feels impossible for you? You come forward a little bit less, but also know that you can't do everything in one day. Progress absolutely takes time, but it can be, when you're smart, accelerated. Let's get a few more times. Notice for yourself how things are starting to warm up, wake up. Let's get one more time. And then we're going to sit for the last 45 seconds. We're going to take the hands on our ribs. We're going to let our eyes close. And then as you have your hands on your sides, can you breathe wide? And exhale. So breathe into your hands. Breathe laterally. And this breathing laterally, it doesn't happen by default. We usually breathe forward and back, but it does happen with a bit of attention. And isn't that what this is all about? Paying attention to ourselves. Take a deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. That was our short, effective practice.